Child, y'all better buckle up because what I'm about to lay out is pure, unfiltered chaos, the kind of mess that doesn't just ruin relationships, but scorches careers, legacies, and reputations in real time. Because the so-called unbreakable hip-hop power couple, Papoose and Remy Ma, the marriage that survived prison, industry politics, and more than 15 years of loyalty, has exploded into one of the ugliest, most career-shredding divorce scandals the culture has seen in recent memory, and this is not a quiet separation or a respectful uncoupling, no ma'am. This is cheating allegations stretching back over a decade, explosive ghostwriting claims that could dismantle a legendary career, secret holiday meetups while new lovers are allegedly kept in the dark, fake engagement rings, battle rap beef that spilled into real-life warfare, and even 50 Cent circling the chaos like a vulture with a Super Bowl stunt waiting to happen. Because what we're witnessing is not tea, it's a 5-alarm inferno, and everybody involved is getting burned. And before anyone gets defensive, let's be clear, this is not just a messy divorce. This looks like a calculated demolition of public images by people who know exactly where the pressure points are. Because when Beyoncé said the best revenge is your paper, somebody clearly missed the memo, as emotional reactions, public humiliation, and professional self-sabotage have taken center stage, obliterating everything that took years to build. And yes, some of y'all are going to be mad, especially the Papoose defenders, the loyal King crowd, and anyone convinced Claressa Shields is completely innocent in this situation. But if you've been paying attention and felt something wasn't adding up, if the timelines fell off and the coincidences kept stacking up, trust that instinct. Because over the last 9 months, we've watched what was once marketed as hip-hop's strongest marriage unravel in the most public way possible. A relationship that began in 2008 when Remy Ma was incarcerated, a time when Papoose stood by her, waited through 6 long years, and then renewed vows with her on national television in 2014, presenting themselves as the ultimate symbol of loyalty, resilience, and love that could survive anything, until May 2025 hit and Papoose filed for divorce, not quietly, not discreetly, but with allegations that shook the foundation of Remy Ma's career, accusing her of multiple affairs dating back to her release from prison, claiming infidelity with several men, and then dropping the nuclear allegation that he secretly wrote the majority of her debut album, There's Something About Remy. The same project that earned Grammy recognition and cemented her place as one of hip-hop's most respected female lyricists, because if that claim is true, it doesn't just hurt feelings, it threatens her entire legacy, her credibility, her brand, and her place in rap history. And while some argue he's lying out of spite, the uncomfortable truth is that if you were completely fabricating this, Remy Ma could pursue a devastating defamation case, and the fact that she hasn't only fuels speculation that there may be some truth buried in those accusations, especially as industry insiders quietly whisper that receipts like studio files, emails, or voice notes could exist, which would be catastrophic timing considering Remy is preparing to launch her own media platform, the Remy Network, where credibility is currency, and if those allegations gain traction, sponsors could vanish overnight. Meanwhile, while legal papers were still fresh, Papoose publicly stepped out with undefeated boxing champion Claressa Shields, and that's where public sympathy started to fracture, because while technically people are allowed to move on after separation, the timing, the visibility, and Claressa's willingness to discuss intimate details of Papoose's marriage breakdown on national radio while the divorce was still unfolding made the relationship feel less like romance and more like performance, like revenge wrapped in public affection. Especially when Claressa positioned herself as someone who helped him heal while Remy was still processing very public humiliation. And yes, some point out that Remy later moved on as well, but order of operations matters, context matters, and public displays hit differently when one party is already being dragged through the mud. Then came the ghostwriting bombshells. The possibility that Papoose held onto damaging information for years only to unleash it at the most destructive moment, which if true is ruthless, but if false is equally malicious, placing both of them in a moral gutter with no clean exit. And While this was unfolding, Claressa Shields, a woman with an extraordinary athletic legacy of her own, stepped into the center of hip-hop gossip in a way that raised eyebrows. Especially when she posted a video in January 2026 flashing a massive diamond ring that immediately triggered engagement rumors, only for professional jewelers to publicly question its authenticity, suggesting it could be a rental. A low-grade diamond, or cubic zirconia, not exactly the symbol of lifelong commitment fans expected, raising the unsettling question of whether the engagement itself was staged for attention, and if that was performative, what else about this relationship was optics rather than reality? Things got even murkier when alleged leaked footage surfaced from December 2025 showing Papoose shopping with Remy Ma around Christmas, looking far more comfortable than two people supposedly done with each other, while Claressa posted cryptic messages about loyalty and love from a distance, leading to claims that the footage was quietly suppressed by legal teams to prevent it from exposing the narrative as theater, because if Papoose was still emotionally entangled with Remy while publicly parading a new relationship, that would explain why the timelines feel chaotic and contradictory. Social media reaction has been brutal, with Claressa's boxing fans urging her to protect her legacy and step away from hip-hop mess, while others accuse her of disrespecting a long marriage and being shocked by public backlash. And at the same time, Remy Ma entered her own calculated phase by publicly aligning with battle rapper Easy the Block Captain, cheering him on as he lyrically dismantled Papoose in battles, posting him affectionately online, and turning what looked like moving on into psychological warfare designed to humiliate her ex in the most public way possible, though insiders caution that Easy may be using the exposure as much as Remy is using him, raising the possibility that once the spotlight fades, she could be left betrayed again. Then came the December 2025 Breakfast Club interview, widely regarded as a turning point where lines were crossed, as Claressa openly discussed Papoose's marriage, revealed intimate dynamics, and framed herself as submissive to a man still legally married, while Papoose co-signed the narrative, dismissed criticism, and implied Remy's guilt without elaboration, igniting backlash across the internet and prompting Remy's cryptic warnings about karma and exposure, with insiders claiming she's sitting on information that could further devastate both Papoose and Claressa if released. Zooming out, the spiral makes sense in a culture that monetizes mess, where public relationships become brands, drama generates clicks, and toxic cycles are rewarded financially, because every viral clip boosts streams, followers, and relevance, encouraging escalation rather than healing. And psychologically, this reflects what happens when hurt people prioritize narrative control over closure, weaponizing social media to be seen as the victim or the winner, even if it destroys everyone involved, including children, mental health, and long-term stability. And just when it seemed impossible for things to get messier, 50 Cent inserted himself by trolling Papoose and Claressa with AI-generated videos at the start of 2026, sparking diss tracks, brutal clapbacks, and conspiracy theories that this entire beef is being leveraged to promote a Super Bowl commercial, because 50 has always understood attention economics, and if even half the rumors are true, the culture may witness one of the most humiliating public implosions ever staged on the world's biggest advertising platform. Ultimately, this isn't just a divorce or a love triangle, it's a cautionary tale about revenge cycles, where every reaction escalates the damage, where no one pauses to heal, and where the pursuit of public validation destroys private lives. Because Papoose exposed Remy, Remy retaliated publicly, Claressa became collateral and participant, Easy capitalized, and 50 Cent turned the wreckage into content, leaving behind a trail of bruised egos, fractured families, and legacies hanging by a thread, reminding us that when revenge replaces reflection and relationships become weapons, there are no winners, only survivors, and sometimes not even that, because this story is far from over, with networks launching, commercials dropping, secrets threatening to surface, and the culture watching closely, waiting to see who falls next and who, if anyone, walks away with their reputation intact.